Have you ever shivered at the moment a snake suddenly strikes, turning silence into a nightmare in an instant? No warning, no hesitation. Venom and lethal reflexes released at the same time, pushing the confrontation to extreme tension. Right after this are terrifying snake battles and their brutal moments captured on camera, where rare footage exposes the most ruthless survival instincts of the wild world. Watch closely. Cobra vs. rat snake. Beneath a layer of dry leaves, the rat snake slithers slowly, completely unaware that danger is closing in. The king cobra suddenly lunges, delivering a precise bite directly to the head. Neurotoxic venom rapidly spreads through the prey's body, disrupting signals between the brain and muscles. The rat snake still struggles, coiling in a final reflex, but the force is no longer coordinated. After only a few seconds, its body goes limp and motionless. The king cobra calmly opens its jaws and swallows the prey whole. Cobra and rat snake often encounter each other when sharing the same habitat, and this time is no different. The cobra charges immediately, but the first bite misses under the prey's extremely fast reflexes. But the cobra does not give up easily. A second strike is launched. This time, the fangs sink in and the venom begins to take effect. Neurotoxin disrupts neural signals and causes the prey's body to lose control within a short time. The rat snake weakens, resistance fading completely, an overwhelming victory for the famed hunter. Cobra vs. Cobra. Two massive king cobras confront each other deep in the forest, their bodies tightly coiled in a battle with no retreat. When both king cobras are venomous and bite into each other's mouths or head regions, the outcome is not simply who has stronger venom. King cobras have relatively high resistance to the venom of their own species, meaning they are almost unaffected by the toxins entering their bodies. Now, the greatest danger is not venom, but mechanical injuries to the jaws, neck, and spine that could lead to a permanent loss of hunting ability later on. Two equally sized king cobras facing each other always create a distinctive tension. But this time, one bears wounds from a previous failed hunt. The other closes in, biting hard into the uncontrolled section of the body, repeatedly damaging soft tissue. In king cobras, bite force and body strength are enough to break the resistance of another large snake. A final neck-breaking move before feeding. This is the result of an accumulated advantage in survival. A large king cobra suddenly drags a smaller individual out of an underground burrow, where there is no possible escape. In king cobras, cannibalism is not uncommon, especially when a larger individual encounters a weaker opponent within the same territory. The smaller snake is gradually pulled onto the surface, completely losing its ability to maintain a defensive posture once its head is no longer protected. This behavior both eliminates competition and provides a significant energy gain. It is a cold but familiar outcome in nature. Cobra versus chicken. At the entrance of a nest on dry ground, a cobra silently slithers closer after discovering a chicken nest. For snakes, this is an easily accessible and low-risk food source. The mother hen immediately stands in front, fluffing her feathers and spreading her wings to shield the nest. Each time the cobra approaches, she risks her life to protect her chicks. You can clearly see that she is terrified, but for her chicks, she cannot retreat, the protective instinct now overcoming even the fear of survival. Fortunately, she successfully protects her chicks without suffering any harm. Cobra versus puff adder. On scorching ground, a Cape cobra suddenly encounters a puff adder, a snake famous for its deadly ambush tactics in Africa. The cobra keeps a safe distance, watching every breath and the slightest movement of its opponent. The puff adder possesses an extremely fast strike and highly necrotic venom, enough to make many predators pay the price in an instant. This very advantage forces the cobra to be cautious. After a warning bite, the cobra immediately retreats. In nature, avoiding an overly risky confrontation is sometimes the wisest choice for survival. Snake versus centipede. In encounters between a centipede and a snake, the outcome often lies not in outward strength, but in the biological differences between the two species. The snake has the advantage of a fast, long-range strike, but the centipede dominates in close-range engagement. Dozens of legs allow it to cling to the ground, change direction constantly, and prevent the opponent from retreating. More importantly, the centipede attacks with venomous forcipules at the head, delivering neurotoxin directly upon contact, gradually causing the snake to lose reflexes and control. In this matchup, flexibility and contact-based venom become a slow but irreversible sentence. Coral snake versus rat snake. A coral snake encounters a rat snake slithering slowly across the ground. The moment of silence is instantly broken. The coral snake seeks to take control of the situation.
Of the top jaw delivers deadly venom.
The coral snake's venom acts immediately on the nervous system, gradually paralyzing the prey's body. When the rat snake no longer shows strong reflexes, the coral snake begins adjusting its position.
To certain death if untreated.
It uses branches and the ground to rotate the prey's head into the correct direction. In the world of snakes, swallowing from the head is almost a mandatory rule to avoid hard scales piercing backward into the mouth. Red-bellied black snake versus brown snake. A red-bellied black snake closes in from behind, clamping tightly onto the body of a brown snake trying to escape. Under relentless pursuit, the brown snake is forced to turn back and counterattack. It repeatedly delivers defensive bites. The red-bellied black snake maintains its biting position, remaining motionless like a rock, forcing the brown snake to expend its strength. In nature, the red-bellied black snake is a specialist snake hunter, including venomous species. Its strong body and sufficiently powerful venom allow it to control prey quickly. When the brown snake becomes exhausted, the pursuit ends. The more persistent hunter claims victory. Pit viper versus gecko. Under dense foliage, a pit viper lies motionless, blending into the darkness. As the gecko climbs onto a tree trunk, the strike is delivered with precision in a brief moment. Venom quickly incapacitates the prey. The snake immediately rotates the gecko to begin swallowing from the head, the safest way to prevent limbs from getting caught. Pit vipers possess a highly flexible jaw structure. The joints can open far wider than the size of the head, allowing the snake to swallow prey using alternating pushes of the jaw muscles. Thanks to this mechanism, the snake can handle prey that appears to exceed the limits of its body. Cuckoo bird versus red snake. A red snake wanders into a cuckoo bird enclosure, where the confined space makes it difficult to maneuver. The cuckoo detects the danger and immediately attacks. The snake reacts by biting the bird's leg, but the bite is ineffective. In birds, the thick keratinized scales on the legs and strong muscle structure reduce damage from short strikes. The cuckoo does not retreat. It maintains balance and repeatedly pecks at the snake's head, each strike focused and precise. When the skull is damaged, the snake loses the ability to resist. The cuckoo begins feeding. This is the consequence of a reptile entering territory where the advantage belongs to the controller of space. Coral snake versus rattlesnake. In this situation, the coral snake is at a disadvantage from the start. It does not attack directly, but chooses to stay close behind, attempting to control distance to avoid counterstrikes. However, the body structure of the rattlesnake makes control nearly ineffective. A thick body, strong muscles, and hard scales prevent the bite from forming a stable anchor point. As its jaws begin to tire, it releases the prey, a correct assessment of its own limits against an unsuitable opponent. King snake versus rat snake. On hot, dry ground, the king snake tightly coils around the rat snake, each muscular loop tightening and locking down all resistance. Without venom, the king snake uses constriction to weaken the prey. With the independently moving jaws of snakes, they advance the jaws as if walking inside the mouth, allowing swallowing without external force. Once swallowing begins, the king snake's body expands and contracts rhythm by rhythm, drawing the prey inward. This is an evolutionary advantage that allows reptiles to hunt efficiently. The scenes you have just witnessed show that snakes are not only silent predators, but also formidable opponents in direct confrontations. However, not every battle ends in victory, because in nature, every strike carries life or death risk. Winning or losing is sometimes separated by a single moment of mistake. If you felt the tension and ferocity of these moments, please like, leave a comment, and subscribe to continue exploring the most authentic survival battles of nature. Thank you for watching until the end. See you again on the next journey of the wild world.